ask our manager slash cameraman to take roll call, please.
Thank you, President. Councilperson Katina?
Here.
Councilperson Covey?
Present.
Councilperson Demko?
Here.
Councilperson Sarsfield? Here. Councilperson Barris? Council President DeLoss?
Here.
Mayor Kabisky? Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. You have at the front door copies of the agenda for this evening. At this time, if you have any questions or comments to make on the items that are on the agenda, this is the time to do it before we act on them. So if you have any comments or questions on the items on the agenda, you are welcome to step up and make your comments. There being none, I'll ask Councilman Katina to start with the Administration and Finance.
Motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on August 12th, 2013.
Second.
Comments? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
Yes.
Council President DeLoss?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the September bill list and bill list addendum.
Second. Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
I really feel like I have to vote no since Bob isn't here tonight in order to keep the continuity going here, but no, I'll vote yes.
Well, let me come down there and smack you.
Council President DeLoss?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Oh, poor Bob. If only when he was here tonight not to vote. Motion to authorize the borough manager to execute the insurance renewal policy for borough facilities and equipment and for public official and law enforcement liability coverage for 2013-2014 at a cost of $75,644.
Second. Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
Yes.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Council President DeLoss?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to authorize the borough manager to execute the workers' compensation agreement with AmeriHealth Companion Property and Casualty Insurance for 2013-2014 at a cost of $130,335.
Second. Comments?
Mr. President, our workers' comp insurance for last year, it went up almost $90,000 last year. This actually would be a savings of about $60,000 from what we were originally quoted from MRM. Their quote came in at about $190,000, and this company's about $130,000. So it's about a $60,000 savings, which is fairly significant, but our workers' comp claims, you would think they were actually horrible for what we were getting charged, but we paid about $500,000 in claims out, and we actually paid about $1 million in workers' comp insurance over this was a 5-year time frame. So it's actually not that bad in perspective, but when you think about it, $1 million over a 5-year period for workers' comp's huge. And like I said, the claims actually weren't that bad. So just to clarify on that point, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
Yes.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Council President DeLoss?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to authorize the borough manager to execute the Carnegie Volunteer Fire Department Workers' Compensation Agreement with the State Workers Insurance Fund for 2013-2014 at a cost of $20,380.
Second.
Comments?
Mr. President, for this motion, actually, our workers' comp is no longer covered by private companies due to the cancer risk that firemen were having. So it's now being insured by the state of Pennsylvania, and that's what this premium is actually for.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Councilperson Covey.
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Councilperson Katina.
Yes.
Council President DeLoss.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to accept the 2013 minimum municipal obligation report for the Borough of Carnegie Police Pension Fund and the Borough of Carnegie Non-Uniform Pension Fund as submitted by the Borough Manager.
Second.
Correction, that should be 2014, Pat.
Sorry, did I read 2013?
Yes. So I just wanted to, if we're gonna second it and vote on it.
Any other comments?
Just, I have a comment. I thought this was the non-uniform state.
Just a minute.
It would be, this is the same motion that was passed last year.
I think it was Mr. President, I think we need to amend the motion because I don't think the motion must have been correct last year.
You're thinking it should say uniform pension plan?
Non-uniform.
It says
It
non-uniform.
shouldn't say, but it's not both.
Wait, I think it's.
It's only the non-uniform we're accepting. It was the payment that Edna did for $113,000. That was for non-uniform, not police. I don't believe we did police last week.
We absolutely didn't do police last week, because then I brought up the issue about the early retirement of police later, to alert you to that, guys, when we get to it, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
So it needs to be amended. So it needs to be amended to drop the Carnegie Police Pension Fund in the Borough of Carnegie. It should just read report for the Borough of Carnegie Non-Uniform Pension Fund as submitted by the Borough Manager. I make a motion to withdraw.
You made the motion, so.
Second.
All in favor of withdrawing the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to,
Opposed? Motion carries, motion is withdrawn. Please.
motion to amend.
Second.
Amendment would read, motion to accept the 2014 minimum municipal obligation report for the Borough of Carnegie Non-Uniform Pension Fund as submitted by the Borough Manager.
Second.
Other comments?
Sorry about that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no code enforcement motions this evening, Councilman Covey. So we'll move on to Public Works motions, Councilman Demko.
Thank you. Motion to approve payment to the State Pipe Services, Inc. in the amount of $26,844.12 for the 2013 sanitary sewer repair contract. Contract number 2013-3B relining.
Second.
Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Katina.
Yes.
Councilperson Covey.
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Council President DeLoss.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve payment to A. Felina Construction, Inc. in the amount of $43,198.42 for work completed through August 19, 2013 for the 2013 pavement maintenance program.
Second.
Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Covey.
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield.
Yes.
Councilperson Demko.
Yes.
Councilperson Katina.
Yes.
Council President DeLoss.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to accept the CDBG Year 39 7.5 bid submitted by Custom Door Systems, Inc. in the amount of $10,866 to install 2 ADA door openers at the Carnegie Borough Building, at the West Main Street entrance.
Second.
Comments?
Comment. I think we're actually long overdue for this. I think we have a beautiful building here, a great facility, but it needs to be open and welcoming to everybody. So I think that it's great that we're finally getting this done.
And this is being accomplished with grant money. This is not out of the Borough General Fund.
And actually, Mr. President, we were only approved initially for actually one door. And they managed to come through with the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant money was able to come through actually with 2 door openers, which is much better, obviously, than one, so we're very thankful.
And are both door openers going to be on the front door, or is one going to be on the side door?
I can't remember the specs.
They'll be facing the west main entrance.
The one we normally come through.
Correct.
Any other comments?
Yes, I think I should be the one saying thank you. It's gonna save me a lot of aggravation. Gonna save my shoulders, my arms, so thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated by myself and by a lot of other people in this town, I'm sure. They'll have an easier time getting into, pay their taxes, do whatever, so thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
Yes.
Council President DeLusk?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Motion to hire Joshua Valentine as a full-time equipment operator with the Department of Public Works under the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Collective Bargaining Agreement at a
Second.
rate of $17.10 an hour.
1712.
1712, I'm sorry.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Comments?
Yeah, just that Mr. Valentine was hired, 3 months ago? 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And he was on probation at that time, and Mr. Hatcher has said that he's doing a wonderful job, so he's now going to be full-time.
Well, and the agreement was that this was basically, we would make him full-time when Frank was totally off the books. So that's how this came out, because he was, what was the word, temporary, full-time?
Temporary.
Full-time temporary, I'm sorry. Full-time temporary until now.
Any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Demko?
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield?
Yes.
Councilperson Katina?
Yes.
Councilperson Covey?
Yes.
Council President DeLusk?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public safety motions, Councilman Sarsfield, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion A had been tabled a few months past, and it continues to be tabled at this time. And even if it were not to appear on the agenda at any point, any of the elected officials up here could bring it back up. But just to let everybody know, it is on the agenda, but it continues to be tabled at this point. Motion B is a motion to adopt Borough Ordinance 2387, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 1, Part 5 of the Borough Code of Ordinances to provide for the adoption of the police civil service rules and regulations.
Second.
Comments?
This was an update to the civil service rules and regulations. It cost us money to do it, but it's something that needed to be done.
No other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion C is a motion to direct the chief of police to contact the Civil Service Commission to administer testing for the establishing of a list of potential sergeants.
Second.
Comments?
Yes, not in the immediate future, but sometime in the future, we will be looking at potentially moving one of our patrolmen into the sergeant's position. So us administering this test and getting this out of the way, we'll be prepared when we have to make that decision.
Very good.
Just keeping our ducks in a row.
If there are no other comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion D is a motion to adopt a resolution number 2013-06, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie establishing a handicap parking space near 329 Knox Avenue.
Second.
Comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion E is a motion to adopt resolution number 2013-07, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie establishing a handicap parking space near 805 Library Avenue.
Second.
And the only comment, and I waited till the second one, was that if you are a person that has a handicap parking space, or somebody in your household has a handicap parking space, and for some reason they move, you're moving, please advise the borough that handicap space is no longer needed, because what essentially happens is that handicap space really isn't being used, and it takes away from a parking space that can be used on our public street. So anyone that has a handicap space, if it's no longer needed, please advise the borough so that we can keep updated on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
And then just an additional comment on that, just to make sure that actually nobody owns a handicap space. So that, when there is a handicap space on the street, anyone with a handicap placard could use that. The reason why the handicap space is there, though, is because someone who lives in the vicinity needed special parking set aside for them because they can't, for their needs, and they wanted to have at least a space nearby that they could utilize for that.
Are there any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No other motions, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. We have no motions under community development, so we will go into committee reports. We have, we're coming into budget season right now, and we need to advertise some dates for budget meetings for council to meet. And since council does not meet in secret, council meetings have to be advertised in a newspaper. So we have established the dates for that, and Councilman Katina is going to quickly craft a motion to advertise those 4 dates for budget meetings.
Yes, I will.
Trust me, we'll give you a little entertainment while he's
One of
doing
them is
that.
next-
Trust me when I tell you, you don't want
One
to
of
come.
them is next Monday.
Because we start at like 6 p.m. and sometimes we're here till like 11, 12. So bring a blanket, a pillow, and dinner.
Okay, Councilman, proceed.
Motion to advertise budget meeting dates as September 30th, October 21st, October 28th, and 11/18 if needed.
Second.
Yes, thank you.
Repeat those dates again. September 30th,
9:30, 10:21,
10/21,
10:28,
10/28.
and 11/18 if needed. Typically, we schedule 4 meetings, but we only typically use 3 of them. We might cancel one and reconvene in November if we don't have enough information in October to finish what we need, so.
Any comments on that motion to advertise the meeting dates? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Councilman. We'll move into committee reports then and start with Councilman Katina with the Administration and Finance.
As we just did, obviously, we're going to be going into budget season. Budget is always difficult because you do your best to try to maintain services without increasing tax rates, obviously, because we all know we pay a lot in taxes. So this year will obviously be no different than other years. We'll do our best to maintain the tax rate. We're trying to keep the service level at the same rate that we always do, but I can tell you honestly, Mr. President, it gets more difficult each year with cost of living, the COLA. It just gets incredibly difficult to try to balance a budget on maintaining and keeping the same level of service. So I'll get off my little soapbox at this point. That's all I have for my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Kobe,
Nothing to report, Mr. President.
thank you. Public Works, Councilman Demko.
No report.
Councilman Sarsfield, Public Safety.
Just briefly, as I said, the motion about the fire department is still on there. And just to advise the public, I believe that we're closer than that. Hopefully I would sit up here next month and we won't have to remove it, but we can see passage of it. I think we're just that close. I think the talks are going better now than ever. So I'm very excited about that, and I'll be very pleased when the ordinance does get passed. Also, Public Safety Day will be the first Saturday in October. So we won't be meeting again before Public Safety Day. So anyone with kids, it just gets better and better each year. But it seems no matter how many police cars or dogs or whatever we have out there, it seems like when Life Light comes, that full attention goes to that. And I'm ever grateful every year that they come and bring that for the kids. But the chief's a mighty fine cook making hot dogs. So if you ever want a great hot dog, come down to Public Safety Day. But the kids seem to enjoy it every year. It seems like we get a few more kids every year. So if you're not doing anything that first Saturday in October, come on down to our Borough building here, and I believe that we're going to have it from 11 to 1. That'll be from 11 to 1. So come down and enjoy the day with your kids. And even if you don't have any kids, you know, it's neat to kind of see what's going on here with our public safety. And, you know, we invite everybody of all ages.
What date is that?
The 6th.
6th, there you go.
6th?
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
If you don't have kids, I'll loan you mine.
Right.
Thank you.
That Saturday is the 5th, not the 6th.
There we go.
I'm sorry?
It's the 5th.
Saturday the 5th.
I put it on Sunday.
Thanks, Phil.
Nice.
It's a 2-day event, Phil. You're making it a 2-day event now.
Right.
It's Public Safety Day weekend.
There you go. And October is actually Firefighters Month. And we've normally done we've done it in June, but we specifically did it in October this year to remember our firefighters, because October is Firefighter Month.
Thank you. Councilman Veers, of course, is not here this evening. We expect him back next month. He's dealing with a couple of health issues tonight, but he's going to be fine, I assure you. I wanted to mention in my remarks tonight, you get this magazine in the mail, In Community, Carleton magazine, which has some really incredible information about our schools. They do a really good job of highlighting some of our students and their achievements. And it's really something that I look forward to getting, even though it's not a paid magazine, obviously. But also wanted to mention that on the back page of this issue, if you might have seen a picture of the library and a story that Bernadette Kaczmarski wrote. Bernadette, of course, most of you know her. She's a local artist and writer. And it's a historical piece, which is really fascinating, and it's short. But it has a nice history of the borough. And it mentions that we're coming up on a 120th birthday of the borough next year. And Borough, of course, being combined from two towns named Chartiers and Mansfield, 119 and a half years ago. In conversation with Maggie this afternoon, she suggested it might be a nice opportunity to do something with the library and the community in a joint birthday party, being that the town is named after the guy that gave us the library. And I thought it was a great idea. So we have about 6 months.
Tell them what you told me.
What did I tell?
About 120.
About 120.
Because I said it's not that, the milestone.
She said 120 is not that significant of a year. And so I mentioned to her, it's completely as an aside, and I don't know why Bernadette would have thought it was significant.
I mean, I said, should we wait till 125? But
Yeah.
you said 120. Tell them.
Well, there's this is kind of off the track a little bit, but it's, there's a saying in the Jewish community, may you live to be 120. And there's a reason for that. And it's because that's how long Moses lived. And when he died, he was 120, and he was clear of mind and clear of sight, full of vigor. And so that's a saying that we have. May you live to be 120.
And that's something.
In Yiddish, 120. Is that right, John? 120.
Right. You're right.
So maybe next year we have a nice party.
assuming.
March the 1st, I think it is.
March 1st.
March the 1st, I think, is the actual birthday.
Better start
That,
baking.
the borough will be 120. So anyway, that's all I have for my report. Do we have anything from the fire department tonight, Mr. Phil?
We do. As soon as I find it. Here we go. Fire calls for July were 34, EMS calls in July were 190, August fire calls were 27, and EMS total 204.
Thank you.
Very good.
Personal thank you to the EMS. I know you don't represent the EMS, but we actually had a fellow elderly gentleman at our synagogue on Saturday who was in distress, and the EMS was there in a matter of moments. Of course, we're close by, but still, nonetheless, they were there in a matter of moments. And it was, it's nice when you live in a small town and everything is close, that you're that far away from fire service and ambulance service. And it's a real benefit as opposed to being in a sprawling suburban community. One of the advantages, I think. So please pass along to EMS our gratitude. Junior council members, anything to add this evening?
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Criminal arrests for last month were 29, traffic citations were 61, parking tickets 110, complaints and self-initiated activity that our department handled for the month was 1,041. Last month I spoke a little bit about receiving tips and how important that is to our department. I'm going to give you two minor, I don't want to say minor things, but two important things that happened in our borough over the last month. And both of them started with tips from residents. One, we had a resident who was walking a dog in the woods and happened to stumble across a number of plants that looked suspicious. He alerted our police department, and lo and behold, our police investigated the situation. The plants were suspicious.
What,
Believe it or-
poison ivy or?
Yeah.
The plant. So, needless to say, they were removed and taken care of by our department. But once again, it was a tip that allowed us to do that. So we appreciate when people come in with a tip. Also, our department really takes drug activity very serious. And we get tips all the time, and some tips are easier to follow up than others. We had an individual who gave us a tip about a drug activity on one of our main thoroughfares and allowed us to use their facility for surveillance, and it actually led to a nice arrest. So once again, while I'm proud of our department for both of these cases, it goes even further than that. It's the residents who came forward, saw something suspicious, alerted our department, and of course our chief, who takes this stuff very serious, acts on it immediately. So we appreciate that. Not everything works out that easily though, but this time it did on both of those cases. Speaking about our department, and I want to have a special thank you for our department, the fire department, and EMS. The band festival, as Councilman Katina mentioned, was yesterday. They had 9 high school bands, 2 college bands, and the logistics of parking 32 buses in our borough somewhere. Right.
They did a great job.
Great job.
Absolutely, and these weren't small bands. One of the bands was North Allegheny, on tour, West Allegheny. I mean, we're talking about large bands with, I mean, West Allegheny even brought a tractor trailer along with the buses. And all of that logistics fell right on our chief's lap. And our chief and Sergeant Lind and Officer Cook did an excellent job of handling those logistics and making it smooth. It was a very nice event for our community. In fact, we originally had Plan A, but Plan A was thwarted because there was a concert, unbeknownst to anybody, including our borough manager or our chief, in Carnegie Park, which they really didn't have permission to do that, but which we're going to need to address because a lot of residents actually complained about the noise and some of the issues. So we will be addressing that in the future about whether someone can just rent the facility and have a concert in our park. So that's a whole other issue. I want to have a special thank you not only to our police department but also to our code officer who isn't here tonight, Terry Roma. We did a sweep of Irishtown a couple weeks ago. We went through Irishtown one afternoon with our public works supervisor, a couple police officers, and our code officer, and the borough manager, and any council person who wanted to join us. And we identified 21 violations in that short period of time. Letters were sent out. Some of those violations have been corrected already. But it's one of those things where when we get everybody together in a concentrated effort, we can hit an area pretty well during a small period of time. So I want to thank everyone for their help, and especially Terry Rome. He had to come home and write 21 letters for the violations. And of course, anyone who knows anything about code, if those violations aren't acted on, which he has to investigate, then they turn into citations, which he'll have to litigate. So it's a long, arduous process, but we appreciate his help. I want to alert everybody that this Sunday we have a jazz festival. I don't see any. Oh, Joanne, you're here for. There'll be a proclamation too about the third Sunday being a day for jazz here in Carnegie. So that'll be an exciting time, and there's still tickets available, so you can see Benita and this distinctively different decor. Did I say it right? Wow. Okay, that's where she's located, right by Jerry Savarka's place down there. Also, I asked the solicitor to look into what the borough can do about the increased number of trains coming through our town, and some of them at really terrible hours of the evening. So our borough solicitor is currently looking into that, and I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I think it needs to be addressed. The train traffic through this town has increased tremendously since the Marcellus Shell has ramped up, and we're getting I don't know but I'm definitely getting a lot of complaints from residents near the train tracks that the trains are coming through even late at night and very early in the morning and really disturbing our residents. So hopefully, at the very least, we can put some limits on when they can come through the town. So we're going to see what we can do on that. And I did meet with, I met with one legislator and talked to another legislator, state legislators that are in our district, still concerned about the truck traffic, still trying to find a solution. One of the things that really concerns me is that we don't have an officer on our staff that does truck inspections. And it used to be, before Marcellus Shell started, that you could have an officer that did truck inspections, but they only had to do 20 a year. But somehow that got that was transformed or changed to now they need 42 a quarter truck inspections, which is just impossible. In fact, I talked to a few bigger departments in and around our area that have people on staff, and they're thinking of getting rid of their truck inspection officers just because they can't meet that standard of 42 inspections per quarter, besides other duties for the officer. It's a lot of inspections. They're very timely. They're time-consuming, the inspections. So, Pittsburgh New Works, it continues. They had a very nice weekend. The Pittsburgh New Works Festival is down at Off the Wall. You really need to get down there and see some of these live plays. They're very good. I do want to say one other thing, that Meals on Wheels is always looking for volunteers. And if you're interested in volunteering for Meals on Wheels, please contact them. 2 weeks ago, we finally dedicated the refrigerator and the cart. There was a refrigerator dedicated for Polly Gaskett. We had finally got our family together along with the church, and we dedicated a refrigerator in honor of Polly Gaskett, who was a longtime Carnegie resident and a longtime volunteer and employee of Meals on Wheels. So that was a nice day. And then we dedicated a cart in honor of a longtime cook, Ron Stein, from Meals on Wheels. They do a great job down there. People don't realize how important they are to the community. I mean, it's a point of contact for people who are basically stuck in their house. So we appreciate what they do. So if you have time to volunteer for Meals on Wheels, please do. And that's all I have today, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. At this time, the floor is open for comments. If anyone would like to step up to the microphone and speak your mind, this is the time to do it. Margaret?
Well, just an invitation, since Carol said it's not that much fun at the budget meeting.
Oh, no.
And I think I know everybody here will get an invitation in the mail, but we're launching a Listen Locally chamber music series, and we're opening with Arabesque Winds, 5 stunning young women, really lovely, fabulous musicians, and a few people who are stakeholders of the Library and Music Hall, who are apparently fabulous bakers. So why don't we launch it with a wonderful dessert reception? So those of you who are used to desserts by Maggie and Costco, we're going to get home-baked, elegant desserts on the 30th. So please come. A short, lovely concert. We're going to follow that up with following month with Tango Cuidado, and it's just a whole series of really fine, fun things, and hopefully our paper will be promoting those. So,
Mr. President, can we have our budget meeting there?
take a break.
Hopefully none of those are on a Monday.
What time is it, May?
It's 8. Wait.
I think they're all.
They're all on Mondays, and apparently that's
You're kidding.
it's because of they perform in other things, so their commitments. It's hard to make a living as a musician, so Mondays
It's
they're
gonna offer
You said 8 o'clock?
7:30. But the tango one, apparently, they're juggling because they will compete with a budget meeting, but they won't compete with Monday Night Football, so we're juggling.
There's no Monday Night Football, looks like, for us this year.
I guess not, but the rest of us can have fun.
Or can we do the meeting from 6 to 7:30, then go straight up to
Just say you have to go do this, but I will leave some of these there, and I'm just going to do a plug because I'm going to pretend I'm you, Jack. I actually learned about something. There's a really exciting thing coming up. It's a whole month in advance. But one of our real assets here, our real hidden treasures, is the Clay Place. They have extraordinary openings, wine, food, art. But the event, the day before my birthday, on October 19th,
There's a little plug.
October 19th, yes, October 19th is a Baltimore show and a Pittsburgh show, because apparently we're playing the Raiders that weekend, so I think we're doing
Not the
arts
Raiders.
day. What?
Ravens.
Ravens, you know how much I know about football. Sorry, Ravens. So I just think that's a really neat angle, that they're taking the rivalry to the arts level, and it should be a really great show, so.
Another conflict, May, the Haunted Trail is also that night.
Oh, well, it's just a hopping town.
I know.
Yes.
I was going to offer to make you homemade desserts, but I'll see what I can do since I have other
You've got a
commitments
budget
that day.
meeting.
Yeah, and the haunted trail.
Anyone else? Joanne?
I'm Joanne.
Good evening, everyone. Joanne Letcher again with the CCDC, but as Jack already mentioned, Jazz on 3rd this Sunday. It's going to be a great day, great music. Starts at 3, plenty of tickets still left. There'll be food from Oasis and Susie's Deli. This is a fundraiser, lots of things going on. But we have St. John Affair, Donna Quilo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Michelle Benson and friends. It's going to be a wonderful time. Jack's going to be there. You're going to do the big announcements. So please get your tickets. It'll be a great day. It's tented, rain or shine. So we're really getting excited about that. I've had, Marlene, Pendleton, Sam, they've been working really hard. So it'll be a great event.
And also, let's do a big shout out for the Carnegie Arts Initiative.
Oh, yeah.
They really put a lot of effort into this and much of another things. So.
They do, they're great. Now I'm going to put in a plug and promotion for Carnegie Collier Rotary. And as you all know, if it wouldn't be for the Rotary, they support the elementary school, the library, the defibrillator, Meals on Wheels, I can go on and on. We are now down to one big event for the year. They cut me out of all my crazy Kentucky Derbies and, the donkeys, no more animals. You don't have to worry, Chief. No more animals in Carnegie. We're doing one event up at Chartiers Country Club, October 5th. It is a Harvest Fest. It's a wine and beer tasting event with a gourmet dinner, Kim Alexander dance band. Tickets are $100. But there's other ways. If you can't be there, we need ads, we need sponsors, we need gifts. I'm actually doing an all about Carnegie basket for the event. So if anybody wants to throw something in the basket, that would be great.
Who's the president of Rotary this year? Richie Torsha?
No, Rick Ioria.
Oh, Rick Ioria.
Yeah, so it'll be a great event, but we need people there to, participate, buy the auction items. We're hoping to raise $30,000 or close to that. And once again, that is our only fundraiser that really benefits Carnegie. So I have invitations to anyone who wants them. Hopefully everybody can attend. It'll be a great night. Thank you.
And you are correct. The Rotary is extremely generous to our community.
Yes.
Very generous. They provide a lot of help for kids with meals issues in the schools. There's a lot of incredible things that they do.
They provide a lot for our children's events also.
Amazing group of people.
And Joanne, your letter's in the mail, by the way.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. President, I will say it's going to be quite a busy couple months here.
Yes. Yes, budget season is always a full-time, plus adding to all of the community events. There's always something going on in our town now, which is a wonderful thing. There's always something going on. It's incredible. Let's go around the table quickly on good and welfare. Councilman Sarsfield, anything?
Thank you, Mr. President. As I said at the onset of the meeting, that Wednesday will be obviously September the 11th. With that, I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing, and probably all my days on earth, I'll never forget that day. But most of all, what it did for me was to appreciate the service that each and every one of our firefighters, medics, and police officers do for us each and every day. They go to work without any reservation at all, knowing that they may not return home. There was one particular gentleman, Lieutenant John Perry, who actually was preparing to turn in his retirement papers that day. He was not working. He was at one police plaza turning in his paperwork, and his duties had been completed. And he heard the crash, grabbed a t-shirt and a hat, and headed down there. He made it in and out 3 times, rescuing people, and unfortunately his 4th time, and he never turned out. But he was actually 1 year my elder at that time. So from that day, I never forgot him, but I never forget any of our public servants. And I attended the flag ceremony the Friday after that Tuesday, and to see the massive amounts of American flags and to be a part of that whole ceremony with state troopers and county police and all that serve. It was quite moving, and it really brought our nation together. Unfortunately, time passes, and we become divided again, but let this Wednesday be a day where we can unite, reflect, and move forward together. No matter how great or how less your finances, no matter what your religious beliefs, know that you're an American citizen and that this is the greatest nation in the whole world, and thank those who provide service to us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Katina, anything for?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just over the past few months, since our sewage bills are now separate from Pennsylvania American Water, more people, I believe, are paying attention to the sewage bills and seeing an increase in how much water they're actually using, or how much wastewater, I should say, they're using, and how much our sewage rates actually are. And one of the things that I'm working on for next month that I'd like to bring back to council, I'm trying to do some of the research on it, and I'd like to have a proposal for next month. But like I said, I've been getting complaints on this, and actually I got a complaint from the big boss today, my mother, and she was upset about her sewage bill. And actually I had something already in the works, but I need to go back to Jordan and see what the numbers are and see how many actual accounts we have and what have you, and to see what the service hit would be. But what I'd be proposing, or what I'd like to look at for next summer, is possibly offering a credit for the summer months. I don't know the dollar amount yet. It's not going to be an arm and a leg. It's going to be a nominal amount, but a credit for basically your sewage, especially if you're using outside water to water lawns or what have you, or filling up pools or small things. But it would put a few dollars back in everybody's pocket. And I know there are programs in place, but it's not really cost effective. I know to install a meter on your outside, before you even get any savings from the meter, you're looking $300 out of your pocket. And I don't know if that's realistic for a whole lot of people. So what I was proposing was give them a credit over the summer months. Like I said, I don't know how much it would be yet, and I don't even know if we can afford it yet. This is all preliminary, but that's what I'm going to be working on over the next month, to see exactly what it is, and if we can somehow make it work, to try to make it more affordable, at least if you want to take care of your plants, water your flowers, stuff like that over the summer. So, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Demko, anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to tell everybody that we're going to do the Haunted Trail again this year. And if anybody here was there last year, you know it turned out fabulous. Everybody keeps asking us if we're doing it again. And it'll be the 18th and 19th of October, and the 25th and 26th. And Maggie, you weren't around last year to see it, but you have to come out this year.
And it's going to be bigger than, better than ever.
It's going to be
Sue.
better
Add
than
that.
last year. And they said last year was fabulous.
So
So
what's that?
lots of work, but worth it. So you have to come up to the park and see. It's actually a trail that goes through the park. So
And there's some construction equipment up at the park.
that's right. And I was going to ask Keith to help me out on this and tell me how far they got this week. If anybody has been near the park, there's a lot of equipment out there. They started the skate park. They did the dirt removal, and they're working on the drainage, from what I understand right now. Okay, and that's as far as they got.
just decorate it.
So that's where they're at. They're still at this drainage, correct? Okay, but it's moving along and it's exciting. I can't wait. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Kobe?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have to add a little bit on, because Susie doesn't, take credit, and she's the driving force behind this trail. And last year, if you don't mind my saying, you don't need me, it was literally thrown together in 2 weeks, and it was fabulous. It was written up in all kind of
Actually, it
articles.
was 3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay, 2.5, we'll split it then. But this year, we've already had several meetings. We actually started at the end of July, and people were like, July? And we're like, yeah, we're late. So it is gonna be bigger and better than ever. I will be at the concession stand ordering people around, so come see me and get all the goodies. But it is great to use one of the mayor's lines last year. A lady showed up and she had twins, and he said, "Now this is really scary." He said, "Oh wait, there's 2 of them. One goes missing." You know, he terrifies the kids. He goes, "Let me write down what you want in case you don't come back." But it's okay.
And not to interrupt you for a second, Carol, but I forgot to say that for anybody that brings their kids to the trail, some of them have older kids, some of them have younger kids. So what they would do is one of them would take the older kids through, and we have a pumpkin patch for the smaller children. And they find things in there, and certain things that they find, they get a prize for that. They also get a pumpkin and some candy, you know, like that. So there's something for everybody. We have the fireplace going in the big shelter, and lots of food and goodies, and it's just
Hot apple
it's really
cider,
great.
hot chocolate, and hot dog,
And we're having actually more food
and
this year.
barbecue. Come see us.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I forgot about the
We work
barbecue.
together on this, hand in hand. The last day of the trail, though, I do want to say, if you do have kiddos or grandkiddos, don't forget, it is the annual Carnegie Children's Events Halloween Promenade. So, you know, bring your kiddos. That's the 26th. It's always the Saturday before Halloween. These will be hanging up downstairs, and in any store I can put them in. It'll be on the website, it'll be on my personal page. And it does say on it, if anyone would like to make a monetary donation, a donation of candy, or the children all get a little raffle ticket, a little free raffle ticket. So if you have any little thing you'd like to donate to the raffle, you know, give me a buzz. We'll be happy to send somebody to pick it up. This is a busy time of year for me. I don't do anything come spring or summer, but you know, we have the Haunted Trail, we have the Halloween Promenade. Then you'll be hearing about Santa Comes to Town, and of course the lighting of the beautiful Christmas tree we will have. And I wanted to say that the fire department is still having their penny drives. So put all your pennies in a jar and take them to them, or bring them to me, or do whatever. I also want to say, I know October is Firefighters Month. However, I want to thank all of our, to lump them into a 2-word term, which doesn't do them justice, public servants. The police department, they did do a wonderful job with the band festival and with everything. I scooter through this time. My scooter goes a lot slower than your car. So if you see them in passing, I really see them in passing. I see them going into homes, I see them making traffic stops, and any one of those could lead, God forbid, to a disaster. The firemen, I don't know where we'd be without them. There was a fire on my street, and we actually had the ambulance parked in our front yard and brought the neighbors into our home. And there was another fire like 3 streets over, and I went over to make sure they were all right, did anybody need water, whatever. And EMS, I can never say enough about EMS. Phil, I was just grateful when you were reading the EMS calls. I wasn't one of them this month. Yes, thank you. Because last year I think I got the prize for the season. But and I also want to thank Public Works. I don't know where we'd be without them. I see what they do during the storms, after the storms, the wonderful job they do during the summer, or any time at the park, but especially the summer for the Haunted Trail. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the dog parks and all of that. Last but not least, in talking about all of our firemen and our policemen and our EMS, I do want to say, I think everyone remembers where they were 9/11. I'm old. I remember where I was when Kennedy was assassinated, when the space shuttle went down, but I will always remember where I was those dates, and also where I was 9/11. I would ask that whatever you believe in, that you remember those that lost on that day. As the song says, never forget, always remember. And with that, we'll see you next month, okay? Everybody stay safe.
One real quick thing, Rick, sorry. If we have any builders or handymen in the audience, we could use your help with the trim.
Here she goes.
So,
What do you do for a living? What do you do?
anybody has any extra time,
You know how to prevent something?
let me know.
Okay, I think that's it. I hope you all had a great summer, and looking forward to the fall. Looks like it's going to be very busy and very enjoyable fall season here in Carnegie. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion adjourned.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Laura, right?
Is it noon?
Right here, right here.